Alright, there's some confusion on how to use a regulator for Polarstar and other HPA guns. So let's go over how to use it real quick. Take your tank, make sure this is unscrewed all the way. Let's do this quick and we'll go over this how and why. Hand tight, turn your pressure, connect your gun. Cool, pew 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 pew, easy. Now let's talk about how things work and why they work. First off, your tank. CO2 or HPA, basically the same thing for these premises. You have your tank, and you have your regulator. You have your gauge, which shows you how much pressure is in your tank. You can see mine is almost empty, and this is where you screw it on. This is how you fill up from fill stations or when there are places to fill up your tank. Easy peasy. Regulator. This is a fire base, but they all basically work the same. You have your PSI, what your pressure, what your regulator is currently outputting to your line. Right now it's at 0 because there's nothing on there. You have your blow-up valve, so in case the pressure is too high, it blows out here rather than blowing out your valve or your main line, blowing up your gun. So, but you don't have to worry about this ever. This pressurizes your air tank. So what this is literally nothing more than a screw that presses down onto the pin or the ball on top of the regulator, on top of your tank. So the thing to keep in mind is when you're screwing your tank into your regulator, you want to make sure this screw, or in case some of the other ones, a knob, is all the way up. So there is no pressure coming from that screw onto here. So make sure this is all the way down or out when screwing your tank. If you try to screw this tank on while the regulator is turned down, you're going to have problems. So like someone on Reddit who's having problems right now, what I saw is his regulator is down and he's trying to screw in his air tank, and you're just going to hit a wall, and if you try to force it, it may or may not work. So again, make sure my regulator is all the way up. Screw in my air tank. Pressurize. So now the pin is pushing down the regulator, which allows the air to go to the regulator, which regulates it down from thousands to hundreds. In this case, I have about 85 psi. And at that point, I can just use quick disconnect, plug into my gun. Now to disconnect everything, you don't have to do it any particular way. For me, I just unplug it from my gun, release my regulator, release the screw out, take my quick disconnect, plug it a few times into the nozzle to my gun, that relieves the pressure so that I can unscrew my air tank. Now you can remove the tank from your regulator without purging your line. It's just easier to purge your line by pressing it a few times, and then you can remove your tank from the regulator. Okay? Let me know if you have questions.